Our Father's peace to everyone who catches this message. It's time for a party. This party's called We Hit Some Dry Land. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna turn on some music. Wait for some people to come in the room and we'll get this party started. Let's see here. I'll see around what time it is. I know it's somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes after the hour. Got one in YouTube land. Yahweh Shalom Akalaki. Father's peace and blessing. Akatika, very glad to see you. Today's party is called We've Hit Dry Land. It's not a bad thing. Not necessarily a bad thing. It is what it is. We get together 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to discuss entrepreneurship and service in our community. We have 10 different special interest groups that we speak about. Having your coffee. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. We'll do the coffee ceremony. Celebrate the coffee, right? We have 10 special interest groups. Today's special interest group is Mafia Soy Publications. For each special interest group, we do look at the perspectives of organic marketing strategies from those different groups. With Mafia Soy Publications, the chosen subject is music. However, we're gonna broaden that because if I limit it to just music, then there's a lot of people who will walk away from the room. And so I want you to understand that every time you publish your content as a content creator, it is in your best interest to look at organic marketing strategies. Linda Moreno, bienvenido. Yahweh Shalom Aparati, Father's peace and blessing. Oh, let's see here. We got 19 in YouTube land. All right. Just to let you know, even though we are not multi platform broadcasting right now, we are still rocking and rolling because we were rocking and rolling before the electric guitar. We were rocking and rolling on that boat before the boat that no one wants to talk about. We were rocking and rolling on boats because we were traveling, visiting, and casting nets. And now I will address you, Ben Benson. Can I call you Bitcho? Yahweh Shalom Aparati. Allahu Allah. Allahu Salaikum. Assalam. Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, mercy, and blessings to you. Unc C Bio. What does that mean? Ben Benson. So you're the son of the son of son? Really? Interesting name. Ben Benson. There was a show I used to watch called Benson. What if you were the guy that was hanging out at the governor's mansion and everybody thought that you were the butler, but really you were there as the hired advisor for all of the staff? Ben Benson. Still See a troll. Shine a spotlight on. I come from the land of funk, and it appears that you are devoid of funk. Shine a spotlight on. Oh, what a day. You see, we actually came here with an agenda, and we're going to get to that agenda. I found out today that we're just doing a carryover from the studies. The studies are never any chance that you get to go and explore knowledge, find out who, what, when, where, why, how. Oh, well, look at there. I don't even have to pull the speech up. Oh, yeah, man. I just need to add one. About to start hearing some sounds. Never knew I grew up and ended up doing a broadcast that involved ASMR. What is ASMR? I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm asking you because I don't know you. People sit and do live broadcasts and they just have sound. Put bubble wrap on the microphone and rub your hands all across the microphone so the person can hear the sounds of someone rubbing their hands all across the bubble wrap. There was a movie that came out in the 80s called Gods Must Be Crazy. In that movie, an airplane flew overhead while a family of Bushmen were minding their own business. Bottle fell from the sky, Coke bottle, glass Coke. Boom. You say I'm sounding a little muffled. I am testing out some earpieces, which are actually mine. I can go just straight speakerphone if this is muffled. Matter of fact, and now we are in speakerphone. We'll probably end up hearing hammers and the ceiling fan, me walking around, birds chirping, and who knows what. So let me know if this is sounding better. We're going to rock with this. I'm going to take the earphones out. I was actually looking for the case to put them in anyway. When in doubt, check your pockets, right? I got a lot of stuff in my pockets, but not the case. You can hear better now? Okay. So yeah, ASMR. Thank you for calling that out because you can't have ASMR unless all the sounds are there. All right. So here we go. Awesome. Ta-da. Thank you for pointing it out. All right, so here we go. Coffee actually clumped up at the bottom. For those of you who are hard-headed like me, do not make your coffee with cold water. 25 years ago, they called me Master Pan
I am still Master Pan. All right. Krom ya Hasharaya. Khazan ya Hasharaya. You've been in a sunken space. It's time for you to move on to a safe place. Krom ya Hasharaya. Khazan ya Hasharaya. We were leaving out of some studies yesterday involving lineage and the Surah Maryam from the Quran. So going into today, not going to necessarily open up the Quran because I was off doing some other independent studies. Right now, all across the planet, there's this huge debate. How are you going to say something correctly? How are you going to pronounce it? How are you going to enunciate it if things have changed, been subtracted, and added to? Causes me to have an attitude, right? Why did they take away the letter Y? Why did they replace it with the letter J? Sila. So that's going to be the theme of our party today. Why did they take away the letter Y and replace it with a J? In order to say Yehava, you need a Y. In order to say Yehava, you need Yod. In order to have Yehava, you'd have to have some kind of concept of what Yod is. So before we go any further, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Istina Surata al-Mustaqim, Surata al-Ladina an'amta alayhim, Khayril Maghdubi alayhim, Walad Dolin. Amin. Surah Al-Fatiha, first surah in Quran. I was learning about Malcolm X at the same time I was reading the Quran. I was given the autobiography of Malcolm X when I was 16. was given the Quran that following summer because the autobiography of Malcolm X was given to me as a birthday present. What people changed it. We'll get to it. Thank you for asking the question. Because, yeah, today is definitely a question and answer day. We do have a target. However, yes, you are free to ask all the questions you want to. Because we've hit dry land. Today's party is called We've Hit Dry Land. Who are they and why did they change it? We need Yod in our life. In order to have power or ruling over a people, a nation, you have to be the one who allows them to do whatever their culture is. You are the one who gives decrees. So, whatever language you speak has to be the language that the people who you rule speak. Otherwise, you could talk to your blue in the face. They can't understand you. They're not going to do what you're saying to do. So, that might mean that you could have a different speech. However, there's an agreed language, right? Concept of as a second language. You have your mother tongue, and then there's whatever you speak outside of your family circle. Well, how do you get a mother tongue? Whatever your mother is speaking while you're in the womb. So if you have a ruling system with people in place who say, we don't care how you practice your culture, you just pay tribute to us, you become removed from the people, from the nation. And since that would be a danger for you to lose your power, you still incorporate a second language. So you don't know everything that's going on with their culture. However, when they're speaking with you, you can communicate. You don't know all the hidden meanings. You don't know all the double entendres. So if someone says something, you're just going to take it, oh, they're just shooting it to me straight, or at least what I can grasp of it. We need Yod in our life. I was reading somewhere and it says that Yod is one of the smallest of the characters. And then the symbol that it shows is this little blip, beep, the apostrophe. YAD or YOD or YODH or YAWD. All of that's supposed to say Yod. Now, since I've given you all these different descriptions of how it can be transliterated or spelled out through phonetics, let me also tell you that there was a different symbol I saw aside from a little blip. It's one where it's an outstretched hand that shows an elbow going up towards the bicep. Yod. Yod is the 10th character in the alphabet. It has a Shem, it has a name, it has an authority. Yod. So then we look at what are the characters in the alphabet. There is an aleph in there. We have the Y because of yod. Some people want to go with ayin. We're not going to go with ayin right now. Yod. So in one of the arrangements is YAWD. Or you could have just YAD. Yod Aleph Dalet. By itself, it could actually say Yada. Now we know that W can actually be written out to U's, or a W could be two V's. Vav. Hmm. So Yod would be Yavad. And if you really dig deep into how the culture goes, then Yahweh is put in everything because you're supposed to say, okay, this belongs to Yahweh. We give it an identification, but it belongs to Yahweh first, right? So you wouldn't just say Yah, you'd say Yahweh, because in order for there to be an U, would be a W. Going somewhere with this, because there's a name of a people, nation, and to some they are called Yahuti, Yahavati. Now we know in spelling it doesn't end with Tav, it ends with Dalet. So instead of Yahuti, it'd be Yavata. There's a difference between Avra and Kanan enunciation compared to Farsi. Hear that right there? There's really no E sound in Avra. There's a He, not so much E. Alachim, not really Alachim. That Elohim really comes from the Farsi side. Elohim, Lord of all worlds. Yahweh, our creator. See, I went on a quest to find out how would I actually ascribe the writings for the Shem. People say Judah. Couldn't figure out how to do that. When I put our father's name back in there, though, that Yod actually is the name by itself. And they say when you ascribe a child their name, they would start with the first character in their name and look that character up in Psalm 119, find the character and its description. Okay, so go to Psalm 119, go to verses 73 through 80. You can find out about Yod. It's very interesting. asked for Elohim to accept the presence of said character, persona, and that people would tremble or respect, or according to how they already carried themselves, said face and character, because that said face and character was also supposed to represent Yahweh. If a person couldn't go to Yahweh, then they should be able to at least go to Yod. And may the character of Yod always represent what is pleasing to Yahweh. Now, I may have missed some terms here and there. However, that's fresh off of my mind what I read. Now, by the way, I was up 1 o'clock last night assembling a video, and that was the last part of it. Was I needed to get verses 73 through 80 into the video. So copied what it said and I put it into Google Translate. It translated it to Igbo, but it wouldn't say it. I could see the letters, and if I wanted to try to enunciate it, sure. But no, it was not going to say it in Igbo. Igbo. All right. So what do I try next? Shui. TWI. Shui. I tried Shui. It showed it. Here you go. If you wanted to say it, you can attempt to. Here it is. But no, we're not gonna enunciate that for you. Okay. Let's try Swahili. Google Translate did take the passages of Psalms 119, 73 through 80, translated it from English to Swahili. Excellent! Play it. It sounds great. I can hear it in English. Sounds great. Hear it in Swahili. Sounds great. Okay. Screen record. Play it back. Okay, you know that sound that you're hearing right now? That's what I was hearing. So then I went and I tried a different app called X Record. You know that sound you're hearing right now? That's what I heard. So no, neither one of those was gonna work. Now, I do have other programs that I can use that are basically text to video, audio, voice, blah, blah, blah. However, this was a lengthy, a lengthy passage. Most of the 7 verses would actually fit within a screenshot, and I would be able to just share it within the video itself. But no, not this time. It was just long enough to where it was going to take some chopping down. And the video that I assembled already had way too much information for me to be adding on something like that. I just wanted to have the Psalms being recited in the background, right? So in this instance, what I had to do was just put a little text box. You know how it says Cash App, $ highest heights, PayPal, 3P Road of highest high. So made a little text box. One of them says Psalms 119, 63 through 70. Then I made another little text box and it said hashtag find Kofi. Because the way the video starts out, it's talking about that little beep that they wanted to call the yard. And I wanted to go through the process to show you how you really get back to Paleo Hebrew, or what some would call Proto Canaan. People take certain sounds and adopt them to what they have going on in their present life, especially if they like it. Then they adopt it and it's part of them, it's part of their persona. I can't tell you what my voice and my dialect sounds like. However, I will tell you this. If you put me in any of the regions that I sound like, I'm still going to stick out because my dialect comes from all of the places that I've been or from some of the people that I've met. It's not that I just parrot a voice, I adopt voices. I don't have like a thousand voices or whatever, but yeah, you know, I adopt those things, I graft those things. So, all that to say, when you have one spoken language amongst a group of people and it's spread out, some change, however, some things have to stay the same. That's the only way it's still a language. Now, if someone else comes along who doesn't speak the language at all, and it's alien ears, alien sounds, then yes, some things will be lost. The name Hebrew came about because there were certain people who could not pronounce Avra. There were certain people who had been stricken because Avra comes from a lineage. There was a father before Avra who had a father, who had a grandfather. The people who came across Avra were not able to enunciate the language. And there was a story that was told about them. There had been a group of people that got together and said, we can build together. We can do this. We can do that. We've outpaced our maker. And it seems that our maker doesn't answer us. So let's build something to reach up to our maker. And we're going to hold council on our own accord. When our maker noticed what was going on, our maker broke up that whole assembly to the point to where they were not going to be able to communicate with each other as well. They were not going to be able to build anymore as well. They were not going to be able to even have great communications with others outside of themselves. From that moment on, those people and anyone from their lineage were going to have that upon their bodies, their physical form. No matter what the spirit was willing to do, the flesh was not going to be able to speak wholly, holistically. The ears were not going to be able to hear wholly, holistically. The eyes were not going to be able to see the value in the intangible because they had fixated so long on what they thought they could fashion with their own hands. There was a consequence. It wasn't just a tower got broken down and people started stuttering. No, it marked a lineage. It marked, okay, well, choices in life matter. Write that down in your handy dandy notebook. Hashtag choices in life matter. It's not about color. Choices in life matter. I was talking about all life matters before they started talking about, well, there's a difference between black, blue, white, clear, and blah, 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 blood. All life matters. Because I was sitting in an insurance office and butterflies kept flying in and landing on my desk, and then I have to take them back outside to release them. Because inside, I know a story about 7 or 8 years prior to that, one of my very best friends, a dear brother to me, had passed. And at his ceremony, we were told, when you see a butterfly, you think about him. So how about every day I'm sitting at my desk and I keep seeing these butterflies showing up? All life matters. Live in peace, Tropic Wild Styles. So yeah, there was these people running around, thought they was gonna build up and do this and do that, and touch the sky. They got struck right back down to the dirt, crawling in the dust. So when you run across people and you try to speak the word into their life and you try to give them a seed, when you see that there's just a little grain of faith within them and you try to give them just plain speak and it just doesn't register, it's not your fault. Now, if they really want it, they will leave. They might say thank you then, but they might leave and go off, study, pray, meditate on it, and start working towards doing the righteous deeds. They will work towards being holistic, holy, working mind, body, and soul towards the service of Yahweh Elohim. And when they do so, the more they strive to do that, then they are breaking the curses. You know, I'm thankful that Ben Benson showed up. You ever heard the one about the seventh son of the seventh son of the seventh son? So there you go, the son of the son of the son, right? Showed up and hung out with us today. You can't beat that with a bat. (1500 BC), 2000 BC. Went from what people call Proto-Canaan, Paleo-Hebrew, 1500 BC to 900. You know, from 900 to 300, started changing. It went from Yod looking like the hand with the elbow and the bicep. Went from that to a more compacted version. And it had changed. Yod had changed. You see, it used to mean the hand that guides, and that changed. Now, did the people change? No. Go check your history. The ruling class changed. That means that the record keeping changed. People were saying, well, we're telling people what to do now and we're making sure things are getting done now. You ever went and checked records? Like for real? Consider the fact that records are kept by human beings. You know anybody who keeps straight books? Could you really keep a full account and ledger of yourself for 24 hours? I'll tell you right now, if you happen to fall asleep, then you've lost that amount of time as it is. So no, you can't. You can't keep full account of what you have done in a day. Because the second that you open your eyes and you come across any other individual in any way, shape, or form, whether it's you greet somebody in the same room that you're in, or if you open up your handy dandy device and you interact with someone, whatever happens afterwards, you have attributed to that. That's why you're supposed to greet everyone with the greatest and best greeting as possible, because you are also charging a spark in their life. Spark is something so small yet so significant. It takes a spark for a flame to ignite. It takes a spark to assemble together with other sparks to cause an electric current. Causes a spark to start a thunderbolt which strikes the ground. As a matter of fact, there are negative electrons charging up from the ground through a tree, while at the same time, there are also positive particles reaching down from the clouds while the raindrops are coming down, as well as the wind causing friction through the air to where there is an arc that is met between the atmosphere and our ground, terra firma, and there's a spark that happens. That spark causes light, and it can also cause a fire. See, these are the miracles and wonders our Creator made and set into balance. These are things that there is no man on earth that could claim the same. Those who lift themselves up to lofty high places often find themselves in the midst of confusion, even once they've gotten to the top layer of what they're trying to build. Because then they look around and there's no one there to support them, not physical people, nor the one who actually grants sustenance and mercy. So they find themselves in chaos and confusion because even though they've gotten everything that they said they were supposed to have, there's no one to share it with, there's no one to appreciate it with, or use it with. Most of the time, you have a whole bunch of people around you who want to actually take it from you because you're not sharing it. That's confusion. That's chaos. You ask me, the moment society forgot how to be a community was the moment that capitalism began. On the eighth day, it was not said, let there be bills. Selah, because I'm going somewhere with this. Let's see here. It says we're at the 45-minute mark. I'll say we started somewhere around 15, 20 minutes after the hour. So we're at the top of the hour right now. We're at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to run another 16 minutes or so, inshallah, Lord willing, Adon willing, because we're going somewhere with this. You see, we hit dry ground. Normally, we be rocking and rolling on both YouTube and TikTok. However, the app that I'm using right now does request access from TikTok in order for me to use it. TikTok in turn asked me, okay, so what's going to be your primary platform that you're using? And you have to show proof. Okay. So I took a screenshot of my YouTube profile. On TikTok, there is a certain amount that they expect you to have, a certain amount of viewers in your audience who actually do follow you, and a couple of other prerequisites. They never make it clear. They have their own criteria. They don't tell anybody. Here's the list. If you do this list exactly, then you get to go live and do this and be monetized. No, because I have a second profile where it told me, yes, you can go live. I go there and it says, no, the only way you can go live with this profile is if you use a laptop. So you want me to use a laptop for an app that everybody else is using their mobile device. I already knew that you could access TikTok through the web. However, why they got to make my life complicated? What if I want to use my mobile device and talk to people while they're using their mobile device? Why do I have to have a laptop? Especially knowing that I don't have to have a laptop. We've gone through this before. You see, I have 3 TikTok profiles. Terrence Thomas, 26. My first profile was started because I had a word that was stuck in my head and I wasn't going to be happy until I gave the complete definition. Disenfranchised. Yeah, I started a TikTok profile just so that I could tell the world what disenfranchised means. However many definitions was offered for it, then the actual etymology of it. Let's go to the root. I want to know each and every syllable. Let's look at what disenfranchised means. Because when you tell me to pull myself up by my bootstraps, and I had to go work for minimum wage in order for me to get some proper boots, when I had to go work for minimum wage because my mama and them had to work in the field to buy their school books and their shoes and clothing. They had to work for minimum wage of minimum wage. Because when you're a sharecropper, you've heard of half. That's when you're partners. What about half of half? Well, then there's room and board. So what about half of half of half will be your wages? I could still barely afford room and board. Yeah, I'm gonna have this general store down the way. Anytime you need anything, the supplies will be there, and you just mark your name next to it. Anytime you need to grab some supplies and you are of need and you don't have enough, you can always go back and just accredit it to your account. What if those are the means that you come from? So you didn't have any steel-toed black boots given to you for you to put on. You had to go work what you had in order to get these boots. And then you still got to go find the place that you're supposed to be pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, the appropriate place. That's a lot to do just in order to be an equivalent citizen. You know, I've told you all before, I'm a very angry individual. Just don't show it. Why? Why bother? Why waste the energy? When the time is necessary for me to release my angry energy, then I will do so. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other things to do than entertain my anger, because there's also frustration. Some people confuse anger with frustration. You have to understand, people get angry because of being frustrated. I do things in a weird fashion, so people happen to get frustrated by what I do, not the outcome, just what I do to get there. Real frustrated. So they get angered, they get agitated. However, while they keep watching, they become satisfied with the project and the product. So they are no longer angry and angered or agitated. Still might be frustrated because I didn't do it their way. So then here's the question. If you knew all this time how to do it your way, why would you come sweating me about me doing it this way? Still got the same turnout. So there is a difference between frustration and anger. I wasn't necessarily born a happy baby or a sad baby. I was born a nonchalant baby. Didn't cry much either. Just chill. Somebody talked to me. If I felt like it, I might speak back to them. And if I did, that meant I trusted them and we're going to be talking for a while. And then I'm going to be quiet for a while. I was forever told to hush. Just because once you ask me to speak my mind, yes, I will. So yeah, I'd get to the point where someone would tell me throughout the day, hush. Get somewhere and sit down. That was my favorite. No, not go to timeout. Get somewhere and sit down. Because once I open my eyes for the day, I'm going until it's time to lay down and close my eyes. Or I'll sit still long enough to eat. Maybe. If I went and found something that I was real curious about, I might go find some food and go right back to what I was curious about. I'll eat while finishing what's going on with the discovery. Always angry. In 1978, I was 2 years old. At some point, they put the Incredible Hulk on television. Real life actor. You got Lou Ferrigno and then the other guy. Found out years later that the body double for Lou Ferrigno was actually a brother with a fro. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I was 2 years old, I had to factor it in my mind because I could see the difference, right? You got the guy, and he starts busting through his clothes, turns into Lou Ferrigno, painted green. Okay, I got you. This is a TV show. I got you even that far. But then there were times where, even though it was Lou Ferrigno painted green, he would look different. And I could see that difference. That guy, right? 2 years old. I heard a time or two the story about this guy named Sam's. He was really strong. So I would see David Banner, Bruce Banner, whatever Banner, turn into the Hulk. Okay. And then he started trashing the joint. When he started throwing things around and stuff like that, it'll be a different person. It was supposed to be the same person. 2 years old. I knew it was a different person. That's why they called me Einstein. Why they do that? Well, who was that? Well, I thought that's the Hulk. Boy, go somewhere and sit down. No, create a Hulk. That's my show. It's telling me something. Afro taller than me. Right. I was 2 feet tall because of my afro. They had the Incredible Hulk on television. They had Spider-Man on television. They had Bruce Lee on Kung Fu Theater. And every now and then on the matinees, you'd catch the samurai movies. Blink and you'll miss it. There are a lot of lessons to be learned in those samurai movies. When we hear Khaled talking about the reason why the Asians show so much respect to those who come from Africa, it's the Bantu, the Banti, the code of conduct of the Bantu, the Banti. That's the samurai code. The house, the family on the boat. We've discovered dry land. Not telling you it's going to be the place that we're going to just drop and plot. Not by far. Yesterday, I was alerted that I couldn't multi-stream to TikTok. I could still use this particular program, but no, I couldn't go into TikTok. I had to apply. Well, I had already applied to do a multi-stream into TikTok. That started way back in March. Then I verified I would be streaming from my YouTube. And yes, it's the same person. Angelic discipline over there is angelic discipline over here. And things were going fine. But they got mad at how I play with their toys. You see, when you do a TikTok live stream, they have bot detectors. And they expect you to do certain things for motion capture. And I was just breezing right on by all of that. Who in this room has driven on the highway in Atlanta, Georgia? In the middle, you got one lane going this direction, and then the other side, they go in that direction. In the middle, they have the express lane. So when the rest of the highway is all bottled up and there's a lot of traffic, if you get in the express lane, you can bypass all of that. So you're just riding along and you look over and you notice you might drive for a 30, 45-minute stretch. Nobody over there. Then you sit for a 30, 45-minute stretch, 2, 3 cars pass by. Well, you see, I'm not a citizen of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not a resident of Atlanta, Georgia. I was traveling through Atlanta, Georgia, and I took advantage of the express lane. Oh, it's not free. You're supposed to put a little sticker on your license plate. Duly noted. Gotta keep on pushing. So that got to do with 2-year-old TJ and Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man and Bruce Lee and Samurai Code. The reason why you blink and miss it in a samurai movie is because if I make 3 moves, I've already wasted way too much energy and time. There should be only 3 moves. Pull your sword out of your scabbard, strike, resheath your sword after cleaning it. And it's supposed to be in one full, smooth movement. Blink and you will miss it. Now, the code of the samurai is no, I don't just go around drawing my weapon all the time, because if I do draw my weapon, it means that really I do have to end my opposition before I can clean my blade and put it back into the scabbard. So it's serious business. Pen is your sword. So if I decide to utter a decree or pass forth a message in a decree, I better make sure that it stands on standard, because this decree is going to eradicate the opposition. It's going to flourish the family. I better make sure it means something. And I only need to do this once. Present the pen. Do what needs to be done with the pen. Clean the pen off and put it back in the scabbard. When I get out to plow the land in the spring, I'm going to plow that land in the spring. Set the rows and everything. Now, if I plan on plowing some land, might do that in the summer or the fall, but I'm not going to come back and till up what I've already set in rows and the seeds are sprouting. Just one time. Till it up, set it up, grow it, harvest it. You don't need to keep backstepping and stutter stepping. Every movement is methodical. Blink and you will miss it. We hit dry land because TikTok refused to actually allow me to play in their sandbox. Now, they didn't tell me I can't do live broadcasts anymore. They just said they have a funny way of how they will allow it. There's Terrence Thomas 26 on TikTok. I stopped using Terrence Thomas 26 because at the time I had 2 devices. Normally, when I have 2 devices, it means if I'm going to use 10 platforms, 5 platforms will be on one device and 5 platforms will be on a different device. That way, if I need to multitask, I can. 2 devices in my pocket is me shooting from the hip. You've heard of gunslingers. That means I can pull from the hip 5 shots. Brow, brow. Just using my devices. I don't have to shoot bullets at you. I got bulletins. So yeah, we found dry land. Now, is that going to stop us from casting nets while we are traveling and visiting? Of course not. Because see, I have Terrence Thomas 26 that was started because I wanted to give the definition of disenfranchised. And at the time, I couldn't go live. Sometime around April 2022, my device shut down that was using that profile, which meant that I was going to have to swap over to my secondary device while looking for another device to replace that one. But when those things happen, sometimes you can just pick right back up. Other times, things get cast off to the side. Well, I had already started another account, 3PROJH. Started that one because I was ready to start promoting my artist persona. But it got put over to the side. TikTok was talking about how I could start up a business profile and all of that and have a TikTok shop. Oh, wow, that's great. Then come to find out, TikTok shop means sell a bunch of plastic trinkets that nobody really needs, and then do your live shows talking about how it would be so great for you to add this plastic trinket that you don't really need into your life. Pay me. I wasn't sent here to deliver such messages. I was sent here to develop images that would remind the eyes of what the ear hears, because I'm also producing sounds that are meant to emote a whole, complete, holistic message of inspiration. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? My everyday movement, moments in action are my work. I don't have to be on this thing talking with you to be at work. When I turn the camera off, the camera is still on because I'm snapshot. Or I'm telling this computer to develop a picture of something that I've put in my mind because I've got the words in my head. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Okay, well, I need a picture of somebody walking through a valley. Messing around with video editors long enough, I found out it's pretty standard. If you have just a picture, just a still image, it's going to count as 4 seconds. What's 4 times 15? If you have pictures, that'll take up exact 60 seconds, 1 minute. So you have the option of either taking a live video or you can line up 15 pictures to say what you're trying to say. I'm not here to be TikTok famous, YouTube famous, or anybody else's platform famous. before it's all said and done, they will probably say something about infamy. I ever tell you what TJ stands for? TJ stands for reciting though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Why? Because that was the first thing that I was told to recite that belonged to the kingdom. That was the first thing that really I was told to recite. My mama might have sat there and said ma 1,000 times to me, and probably told me to say ma 1,000 times. I said it when I felt like it, because I wasn't going to recite it. I'm not really a parrot. If I say some words, it's because I'm telling you what I'm thinking, because what I'm thinking is what I do. My creator said be, and it is. So here I am. You will see how I be from the actions that is. What is all this talking about? It sounds like a bunch of talking in circles. Yeah, I bet. Because I walked around quite a few circles in life. I'm here to tell you about how to do some things just straightforward. So you ready for this? You got 24 hours in a day. Like I said, you can't even fully account for your day. However, we're supposed to give 2%, 10% of our day directly back to our creator, no matter what's going on. And anything that you do, the moment after you wake up, is pretty much your work. Whether it's the standard work that is accepted or whatever the case may be, your actions are your work. All right? So you could dedicate, there's 24 hours in a day, and we know that we sleep anyway, it don't matter. This has been calculated by our Kahalet. 24 hours means you got 2.4 hours, 10%. What do you do for 2 hours of your day dedicated to Yahweh Elohim? I'm not talking about getting in front of people talking about how cute you are. I'm talking about what do you do that's a benefit to other people? And it's not something that's assigned to you because Uncle Sam gives you a check conveniently. That does not count either. It's great that you found that. Now there's another step. What do you do that would actually cost you something? Not you show up and then people give you all kinds of benefits in order for you to be able to do it. No. What do you do that would actually cost you? What do you do that costs you to exert your energy, your talent to help other people and make it be known? Because no, we should not be showing up somewhere in order for Uncle Sam to pay us to do our work and then try and call it work. No, that is still toil because you are getting paid wages that are rendered to Caesar. And I will not accept living that way because it's been going on for 6,000 years. Wake up. Don't tell me you woke just because you learned a couple of words 5 years ago. We have been having issues for over 8,000 years. 8,000 years. Not 1,000. not half of 1,000, not 400 years. No, it's 1,000 years. You want to show me what you got for some jewelry? Jewelry doesn't mean anything to me. That means somebody else is hungry. That means somebody else died. Because somebody had to dig that out of the dirt. You don't impress me with that. You make me want to pull a Moses on you. Selah. Like I told you, I'm an angry individual. You don't want me pulling my pen out. You don't want me getting out the script. You don't want me to have to start thinking and talking at the same time. No. Go and watch a movie called Buckaroo Banzai. Find out about these beings that inhabit the fifth dimension. Right here with us. Just can't see them. There's a lot of people out here who play games, and I have to refrain from doing so. Because when I play, people get in their feelings. It's not that I don't play fair. And I'm not bragging. It's not that I don't play fair. It's because there are so many talents within me that the deck is already stacked against you. The second I walk in the room, the deck is stacked against you unless you brought your A game. You better have A, B, C, D all the way through Z. Because I came in here with Aleph all the way through top. What does TJ mean? My mama gave me the best gift in the world. She tells me it means exactly that. TJ. Not TEEJAY. TJ. Not the name you see attributed to me. That was the first lesson she taught me. Learning my name. Now, see, I learned a whole lot as a toddler, and they were all life lessons. And that's why there's a funny thing that happened on the way up to today. It's what keeps me from snapping and exploding in anger. Because that's just an emotion. That's just one part of energy that feeds my motion. I'm a logical being. I'm going to be thinking here before I worry about how my blood is boiling. Because eventually I can go and work off that energy, doing something positive. Whether it's building my respiratory system and my circulatory system to where it can handle and manage when my heart starts racing. Or, as my uncle would say, I go jogging to meditate. Told you about my son. Say nice. Nice. Well, that's me jogging or running. Running. Give me a skateboard or bike or walking. Oh yeah, we best friends. We can do this forever. Running? Okay. I can tell you something. We gonna run till we get to where we're supposed to be. But me and running don't get along. I can sprint, I can run, I can jog. I don't like any of them. Keep that in mind. So yeah, there's some names that you may see attributed to me. Those names were put there in document form in order for those who have a veil over their eyes and some plugs in their ears and a little bit too much salve on their cerebral cortex. That's for them. See, when I show up, I have to tell them, oh, here am I. Because that's the language that they would understand. But no, I'm none of those things. My mom never called me any of those names. Whether I was in trouble or if she was proud of me, she'd have, no, those are not my names. The Joker. So just imagine if I decided I did want to run with my frustrations and be of a diabolical nature. Now perish the thought. Joker went into retirement a long time ago. Where we at? 1 hour, 22 minutes. Run across dry ground. So I went in and I checked to see if I could do a simultaneous cast with Facebook. Excuse me. Now, I've tried to go into Facebook before and it gave me a couple of difficulties as well. There's another one that's called Twitch. There's a few things I'm going to have to do in the background, I guess, during the evening time, because when I wake up during the day, I like to dedicate my first 2 hours to listening to some knowledge. And that gives me inspiration to do my work. So I listen to Khaled Kofi, and his words give me guidance. Today I missed that. Wound up joining the live with Bruda Charlie, Akadare, and was able to be fed there. And we discussed the fact that we have a common study right now, and that's the principle of where it all comes from, the origins, compared to what they've given to us for study guides. We need Yod in our life. Mafia Soy Publishing, Mafia Soy Publications is an actual label. It is just as real as Highest Heights Studio. It is more than just music. There are images, there are videos, there are concepts that we haven't even put out for the world to see. Because first you just needed a taste to know that it exists. All kinds of people out here who want to offer you pictures and comic strips and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of videos. There's all movies, manga books. There's all kinds of video games. The idea, though, is where is the message? What's the concept behind it all? Are you just trying to build another Babel? Because we're all looking at Babel and Babylon crumble. No matter how far you try to reach out, no matter what you try to do, if you don't walk with the standard of the Almighty Creator, your efforts will crumble. When you leave out what's most important, your efforts will crumble. It's not a threat from me. It's not my opinion. It's what I've seen time and time again. For all of you who are acquiescent, silently accepting what's going on around you, I'll just vote the next person in to solve the problem. I'll just wait for somebody to come along and they're going to make the right move. I don't know what's wrong with these cheering. We need some more people like MLK. Why don't they pull their pants up and at least go sit in a cafe somewhere and sip coffee and start writing speeches like Malcolm X? Why don't we stop supporting leaders who come with BS plans, over exaggerated budgets, and false promises? Let me show you something that spelling does. AMR. OMAR. UMAR. Amir. All the same word. Silla. I don't have to throw shade. People throw shade on themselves. I'm here to cast a spotlight. See a troll? Put a spotlight on them. Think I saw certain hoes over there, devoid of funk, can't dance. See, I know how to dance, I just refuse to. When everybody else get up line dancing, I jump right in the middle and break it up. What's wrong with you? Electric slide. Don't you know what this is? So y'all go to work all day just to get off from work and then go hang out somewhere and act like slaves to some music? Is that what you're doing? Come on now. Calm ya hashraya. Khazan ya hashraya. Even though we've run across dry ground, it doesn't mean we're giving up. There's like I said, going to be looking at Twitch, going to be looking at Facebook. There are quite a few different ones that I could dig into as far as using different social media platforms with this program. I actually like this program. I like this app. So I want to keep using it. And the more I explore with it, the more I'll tell you about it. You know, I was being hard-headed going to use a sandbox that didn't want me there. Now, if I go and play along with their rules, then they're fine. I can do lives all day long. Just don't want me doing it this way because then they can't keep up with their numbers on ad capture. And that's why this is a test. And we are rocking and rolling. The test came back positive. The theory came back positive. We have proven our hypothesis. This was not an encrypted, secured, safe place. So we must still keep on cruising the waters until such a platform is established or cited. That might mean that we assemble ourselves and build it ourselves. So on that note, I'm finding all the material that I can, finding the frameworks to where if necessary, all you got to do is show up, put your warm body in position as Akid Avad would say, get in position so that we can make this work. Yahava Ahava, our creator is love. Ahava Ahava, love is love. That is complete and total compassion. What is love? Love is when you jump up and go do something for somebody else, whether they ask you to do it or not. You see they have a need, and within you, there is something you can do to help them. That's love. Ametaba, Ametwofo. That means love in both Chinese and Japanese. It means actually compassion in Chinese and Japanese. Yahava Shalom Barak, Allahu, Assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace and blessings to you in Avra. Our Father's peace, mercy, and blessings to you in Farsi. Till next time, many much love and respect.